to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Happy Monday. Thank you for locking in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This is the show, of course, where we talk all trending topics and headlines across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I am your host, Jill Munroe. I hope you had a great weekend and that you are relaxed. You know, maybe you have a snack, a beverage. You're in a comfortable position and you are ready to get into some things because, of course, as the station says, we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into all of this, remember when J-Lo a couple years ago tried to start the challenge for My Love Don't Cost a Thing to get people on TikTok to like do the famous walk in the video where she's tossing her shirt and her jewelry and nobody did it? Oh, it's hard to get into the algorithm of the TikTok trends. It has to be a little more organic, I think, because sometimes it works and sometimes they're just like, nope. At any rate, it is Monday. I am your host, Jill Munroe. And listen, before we get into tonight's rundown, let me remind you that if you're not following us on social media, hit us up everywhere. KBLA 1580. If you're not following me, shame. Hit me up at Stiletto Jill everywhere. And, of course, make sure you've downloaded the app so you can take us with you on the go, listen when you feel like it, all of those good things to any of the shows here on the station. As well as if tonight something strikes your fancy and you want to jump in and add your opinion to the mix, you can call us up, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And lastly, if you want the visual experience along with this audio experience, make sure to check out the YouTube channel. There is always a plethora of activity happening in the chat, so lock in there. Let's get to the rundown because, Mondays are always funny because we've had all of these days off and so much happens over the weekend. So let's get into some of the topics that we are going to get into tonight. So first off, Andy's always on point, right? So that J-Lo wasn't for anything. It wasn't just us being nostalgic. Recently, there's a blogger, and we'll get into her whole shtick in a little bit, but she thinks that Jennifer Lopez is doing too much. As a 50-plus-year-old woman, she said it's time to put the boobs away and she needs to be dressed a little more conservatively. That as a woman, a married woman over 50, it's time to let that go. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk a little bit, I know you've seen it. It's all over social media. It is all over social media. What is going down with customer service at Atlanta Fooderies? And not just at, fooderies, eateries. Not just what's going on with the customer service. Why is it a consistent thing across Black business? There is a food reviewer named Keith Lee, and there's been some controversy because he was just doing what he always does. And this is the first time he's run into that. So, want to get into some of the rules and regulations for some of these spots and how they do business, and talk about the concept of everybody wanting to be an entrepreneur, but people are forgetting that, especially when we're talking about food, it's a hospitality industry, and customer service is first. And it comes up quite a bit, whether we're talking about food, hairstylists, a couple other things. So we're going to get into that. Oh, in the third hour, because that is the after hour. That's where we get a little looser because it's late. There is a former NBA star, a number one draft pick, and he recently found out that his wife has an OnlyFans. So we're going to get into, she recorded their discussion about it. So we're going to get into the circumstances that led to this situation. We're going to get into his response. And, because it's me and I like sports stuff and, I like a little bit of history, a little story time, because there's some history attached to this gentleman that we're going to get into. So we're going to do that. Also, recently on social media, will.i.am revealed the alleged starting point, the flashpoint of the Michael Jackson Prince beef. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to look at, over the weekend, Academics, DJ Academics. Not sure if you're familiar with him. He is a popular online personality, adversary to a lot of people, most, but has a big platform. And he had a lot to say about the City Girls and Glorilla and some other things. And they clapped back. And it is a reoccurring theme with Academics. People seem to believe that he goes after women in hip hop differently than he does in the men. So we're going to look at what's going on, what was said, and take a look into that. But before we get into all of that, I got to give you a little conversation starters. These are headlines and topics that we can't get into the full story right now, but because I got you, VIPs, want to make you aware of what's happening out there. So over the weekend, there was the One Fest in Atlanta. Don't know if any of you checked that out or if you've seen any of the footage online, but post performance, we got a little video treat of Nelly and Ashanti. They are super cute in their spin the block moment. I really like them together. They seem like a really fun couple. And they were hanging out with a former couple that are good friends but seem to be spending a lot of time together. And that would be Jermaine Dupri and Janet Jackson. They were in a hookah lounge. JD was kicked back, blowing smoke. Janet was chilling. Ashanti had on her little bunny slippers because it was after the show and she was tired and took her boots off. It was a cute situation. So my question to you is, are we interested in seeing Janet and JD spin the block again? He does have that Janet tattoo. But remember, he did cheat on Janet Jackson. But I just want to know, are we interested in seeing that? When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community actually for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. voice and to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible.
For KBLA 1580, I'm Aisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
Your floors can go from clean to dirty fast. From juice spills, whoops, to muddy paw prints, to little sticky finger marks. Good thing your Swiffer Wet Jet works fast too. Swiffer Wet Jet easily cleans everyday messes as quick as they happen. The next mess is right around the corner. So grab your Swiffer Wet Jet and just spray, push, all clean.
King C. Gillette knows you're dedicated to your barbershop routine, but how do you maintain the beard hair you already have? The King C. Gillette Beard Thickener helps to reduce patchiness and strengthens hair's resilience to breakage. Apply the King C. Gillette Beard Thickener daily to see a thicker and fuller beard in just 14 days. It's highly scented with King C. Gillette's signature scent. Just trim, wash, and soften. With King C. Gillette.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, let's continue on with these trending topics and headlines because, like I said, I have so much to share with you tonight. So, over the weekend, Saturday, it was a big game at the Rose Bowl. Actually, if you are a UCLA fan, the 71,000 that were in attendance for UCLA versus Colorado was the largest crowd that attended a UCLA football game since Chip Kelly has taken over as head coach. And of course, everyone was in the building to see what Colorado would do in person. They've been on a little downward slide since the opening of the heyday, but I feel like some of this is to be expected. This is their first year playing together with Deion. So, it would have been a Cinderella story if they were winning all of the games. But I'll tell you what, I know next weekend, if it is a home game, I bet it won't look like Hollywood in Colorado. Then I think the sidelines might be a little tamer. But, the people were out to see what ultimately ended in a loss. Shout out to UCLA. I'm always for the home team. So congrats, UCLA. Wouldn't have been mad if Deion and Colorado had won as well, but they did not. But unfortunately, while they were playing, and we'll talk about Deion's comments about the line protecting for Shador at another point, probably maybe tomorrow, but we'll get into that. However, for the players, after a loss like that, you get back to the locker room and discover all your jewelry's been stolen. The players were hit. They were robbed in the locker room. I guess they were looking for all of the watches that Shador is flashing or something, but they were robbed. One of the players, the video was captured by Deion's son, Deion Jr., who obviously is he an assistant with the team, or does he just do the social media for the company? Can't remember his exact title, so let me not get that messed up, but he was filming the players, discussing it. One of the guys had just got his chain the day before, and somebody took it. So unclear as to how they got access to the locker room because, as said, it did happen during the game. The Rose Bowl is an old stadium, very old. So I don't know if there are, cameras in the hallways outside of the locker rooms. I don't recall there being any. So hopefully, maybe something will happen. There's a good Samaritan or someone, and they'll get their jewelry back. Because, man, Andy?
I'm not here to pass judgment, but I have a theory.
Okay.
We got a lot of corrupt security guards out here.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Double duty, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, this is, once again, Los Angeles.
It is.
I don't think I need to go any further into
safe in these
what
streets.
that's supposed to mean.
You're right.
So, to me, that's probably a security guard making a phone call to one of his peoples.
Hey.
Pull up over here to the back. Colorado's locker room. Bada bing, bada boom. No cameras.
Whoop, whoop. My question was, I guess you could just go floss in the hood with it, because I know it's a lot of custom, like the chains and stuff and the pendants, Don't know, like there wasn't a listing, at least as of yet, of what was missing. I'm sure probably, too, some of the items, it might be offensive to people, but we're in the NIL era. I don't know how many of these players have NIL deals, but I'll say that. But it is interesting and sad. So, shout out to them. I hope they get their chain back. My grandmama bought me that chain. It's not funny. Let me be nice. So there's also a new deal that was announced between the NBA, the WNBA, and USA Basketball. Kim Kardashian, on her billionaire blast stuff, has announced a new deal with Skims. Skims just announced their men's line, so it is, a perfect timing for that. They have one, what is Shy's? Gilchrist. I know he plays for OKC.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, yeah. I like Shai. So he's one of the models for it. There's a football player that's kind of magna, so we're not going to talk about him. And soccer player. We talked about it last week, Andy, while you were out. When she first announced the men's wear line. So again, it's going to go across all the leagues. I think that she approached the NBA with this. It took them a while to get the deal done. It does include on-court signage and some other things. I think that this was a really smart move. I think that brands should be lining up to get in with the WNBA. And if they aren't, they are crazy. The eyes are there. The women are there. You could go in either direction. There's a fashion beauty aspect. There are some girls that are very much into lashes, hair, lips on the court while they are playing that very much give you that. There's still, other beauty products. There's post-workout products. There's a range of items that you could get at with these WNBA players and get some promotion. So, we'll see. It's going to come up. There's more money coming in that area and aspect. Also, speaking of the WNBA, Usher was at it again. The Las Vegas Aces went to his concert this weekend. And, of course, he did his signature singing to Asia Wilson, MVP. And she was going crazy. He invited them up on stage. Sid Colston, who also plays for the team. She and Aja. Did I call her Asia? My bad, Aja. I know better than that. They have been joking back and forth on social media, so she broke down her little twerk move and stuff like that. It's all over social media. If you are interested in seeing that, go check that out. Also, condolences out to the family of Matthew Perry and friends. He passed away over the weekend. We believe it was an accidental drowning in his jacuzzi. The results of the autopsy won't be available for several weeks or months, according to authorities. And, very shocking loss. He overcame a lot. So sending lots of love and light out to his friends, fans, and family, of course. And lastly, it's birthday time. These Scorpios are rolling into the building. Yesterday, October 30th, both Gabrielle Union and Tracy Ellis Ross celebrated their 51st birthday. So shout out to them. Very appropriate considering the topic that we're going to get into. And today is Nia Long's birthday. Well, no. October 29th is Gabby and Tracy's birthday. October 30th is Nia's birthday, and she celebrated her 53rd birthday. So all of those women are incredible, beautiful, fly, all of those good things. So shout out to them. And so listen, before we get into this J-Lo topic, right, I'm going to give you one more update. So you see that the app formerly known as Twitter is starting to roll out their tiers for access for new users, right? The paid tiers thing. Well, something that you should be aware of if you're interested. It's been a year since Elon Musk officially purchased Twitter. And remember, he paid $44 billion for it. And employees weren't informed. Employees were let go. It was all types of chaos. And we've seen the app steadily decline over the last year or so. Well, some news. The app has suffered a 55% drop and is now only worth $19 billion. We know what kind of money, but geez, what type of money? I know Elon has to be hurt. I know he does. Probably said it as a joke, and now it's just hemorrhaging money. I don't know. It's not going to come back. And the changes he's doing seems like purposeful. I wonder if there's some type of write-off he could get for that. At any rate, let's get into this J-Lo topic. Now, Jennifer Lopez is 53 years old, we know. Just mentioned some other women that are celebrating, right, their 50th birthdays. And look, they look fantastic. 50 is different now than it was, even just a few years ago. It's being redefined. There's more ways to keep yourself healthy. There's more procedures. There's different makeup. There's all types of things. And then there's just, the good old-fashioned diet. All of that are options, right? But there's a blogger. Her name is Pearl Davis. She goes by pearlythings. She has about 1.8 million YouTube subscribers. And she's American. She's based in London. And her whole thing is around, being marriageable and how to put yourself together as a woman and present yourself in the world. And so, she has some very specific viewpoints, right, about women and how they dress. So her target was Jennifer Lopez as of recently. And what she tweeted was that, I'm sorry, my notes closed. So J-Lo tweeted out date night. She had on a green dress. It was low cut. She looked good, right? So Pearl responded and was like, will modern women ever put their sexuality away? This is a mother and a wife. Is she still married? The shade, Pearl, the shade. Women of the past understood that over a certain age, and the certain age that she declared was 30, it was time to dress more modestly. Why do modern women feel the need to lead with their sexuality even into their 50s? So I thought this was an interesting topic because on one hand, we've talked about it. Are we over-sexualized at this point? I think so. I think that I don't mind sexuality in women. I don't mind seeing it out there. I think that it is great. I think that it is fantastic that women aren't shut off and told, oh, after 30, that's it for you. Oh, what? You're not married? Life is over. Because these things aren't true. But I think that she's picking the wrong target. Obviously, J-Lo is popular or whomever, but I don't see anything wrong with still leaning into your sexuality at a later age. People still have sex at those ages, right? I mean, we got Viagra now, so, the incentive is on both sides to keep that train going, right? People look better than ever. 50 is not the same 50 of the 1980s or the 1970s. It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different lifestyle. And it just seems like when women pick apart, to me, at least, women that are still in their moment, per se. I can't say it's jealousy because this Pearl woman is young. I don't even know if she is 30 yet, maybe just a little over 30. So I won't say jealousy, but I think sometimes it feels like with some women, especially if they're closer to that age, feel like maybe they played by the rules or did the things that people say they should do to be the right kind of woman, and maybe didn't get the results or the fanfare that they felt that they should, abiding by those rules. So then they see other women playing outside of the sandbox and, inbred misogyny, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, maybe jealousy, whatever. They then seem to turn those darts around and critique the woman. And like I said, I just talked about Tracy Ellis Ross, Nia Long, Gabrielle Union, all over 50. We can go even further. Regina Hall, Regina King, Sanaa Lathan, all of these women, Taraji P. Henson, all of these women over 50 still look fantastic, still look youthful, still have, bodies on point. Don't know if there have been any enhancements to any of those ladies I've named. I don't believe so. And if it was tasteful, which is how it's supposed to be. But they look amazing. And I think that should be encouragement, not something that should be looked down upon. I don't know. But again, this particular blogger, YouTuber, I should say, she's white, so maybe it's that, maybe it's that shared thing of, the old stereotypes as far as what happens with Black women, they preserve and others don't. So maybe the women that are looked at as still being preserved in that later age group, there's a hint of jealousy or maybe sit down, because in some ways, I think too, it boils down to, at least in theory, or the idea of what men want and availability and how it reflects back and makes it harder on that woman out in the world. I don't know for certain, but leave the 50 plus baddies alone. They aren't hurting anybody. What is it like? I really don't understand the friction about it, because also too, I could see if, maybe if J-Lo had on a sheer top and nipples were flying, but it wasn't even anything too outlandish. I just don't understand sometimes what people expect people to do as they get older. Are they just supposed to shrivel away and die and sit in the house? Are they just supposed to ignore if they're still vibrant and in shape? I don't know. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. Do not hate on the older people. You will be there one day. And trust, you're going to want to be treated well. And you're going to want to feel good about how you look too. So get into it. More trending topics and headlines on the other side. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580 News and Sports. Up next.
If it doesn't change, gotta hit the road. Now I'm leaving with my keys. I've got to go. All that mercy is that you treat me right. Give me all the things I need that money can't buy. Yeah. Think you gotta keep me as you don't. Think I'm gonna spend your cash out, baby. Even if you were broke, my love don't cost nothing. Think I wanna drive your Benz, I don't. If I wanna floss, I'm on my own. Even if you were broke, my love don't cost nothing.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Jacksonville, Florida faith leaders are calling on the city to prevent violent crimes. As of last week, the city has experienced more than 100 murders so far this year. The Interfaith Coalition for Action, Reconciliation, and Empowerment, also known as ICARE, released a statement saying more than 80% of the victims in the city are African American. Officials are asking Black Sheriff TK Waters to call the National Network for Safe Communities to help improve the city's approach. Sophia Crowder is the new Miss Black Kentucky for 2024. The Women's Club of Louisville held the event over the weekend where 3 Louisville natives swept titles. Alina Gordon took the Miss Black teen crown while Sierra Johnson won for Miss Division. Crowder will represent the state in the Miss Black USA pageant next year. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Don't let a traffic accident ruin your day. Visit fixautousa.com to find the nearest Fix Auto location. Their highly trained and certified technicians will have you back on the road in no time. You have a choice on who fixes your vehicle. Tell your insurance agent that you want to go to Fix Auto.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
At City National, we listen to you.
I want to expand my business and my legacy.
I want to set up the next generation for success.
I want to see my vision come to life.
I want to feel right at home. Your goals, passions, vision, future. We want to hear it and work alongside you to achieve it. Visit cmb.com to learn more. City National Bank, here for our clients and communities.
You are now in Big Tobacco's fantasy land. Welcome. It's a healthier world where they want you to believe that vaping makes quitting cigarettes a breeze. Never mind the evidence that vaping leads to using both. And if you're younger, even better, teens who vape are 3 times likelier to use cigarettes. In Big Tobacco's fantasy land, the deadliest industry is your friend.
Big Tobacco's idea of smoke-free is a dangerous fantasy for us all. See reality at undo.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusion.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose America.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I said I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. Trick, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. She the devil, she a bad little, she a rebel. She put her foot to the pedal. It'll take a whole lot for me to settle.
I like Doja Cat. I know people aren't exactly happy with Doja. I rocks with Doja. You know what my song is from this album? This is off of Scarlet, by the way. Paint the Town Red. My joint is Agora Hills. What is it? Is it Confessions for Agora Hills? Something about Agora Hills on there. That's my song. I love it. Rock out to it. Shout out to Doja Cat.
That's where she's from, right? Agora Hills?
Is that where she's from? Maybe.
I know she's from SoCal.
I know she's from SoCal for sure, right? But I don't know specifically where. So you might be right. I'm going to have to look that up.
Trivia.
Yes.
What sample is in that song right there?
Walk On By?
By?
Sybil, right?
Nope.
Who? The original?
So I'm assuming. I don't know. Because when I Shazammed it, this is what popped up. You know what I'm saying? I got a hint for you.
Okay.
Call me now for your free reading.
Miss Cleo? Dionne Warwick?
Bada bing, bada boom, Dionne Warwick.
Okay. She samples the original. I like that. All right. Well, I went to the one that was out in my day. Let me tell you, though, random, here we go is another one that's going to have you guys questioning my musical taste. Did not like the Sybil song. Hated it. That's just a random fact. Side note to wrap up our conversation about sexy at 50. Pearl said later on, the point I'm making is not about J-Lo or any one person. She said the point is that we have normalized wives and mothers dressing slutty, that we don't bat an eye at wives and mothers with their breast out, posting on social media every day for everyone to see. We have gotten to a point where even conservatives defend this. Girl, relax. What does she want? Those lace turtlenecks with a choker up the front? I get it. As a society, we absolutely have become over-sexualized. The internet added to that with the accessibility to adult entertainment. And then, social media took it one step further. It's a lot happening out there. And it is, to a degree, a problem and an issue. But at the same time, listen, let people rock out how they want. I don't really think, I know that there is a line, but gee whiz, relax.
It ain't church.
Nope.
And this reminds me of the Megan Thee Stallion situation at Essence Fest.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this? Do you remember?
Yeah, they were saying that they didn't want, they were disappointed. They felt that Megan being there wasn't in line with what Essence represented. And people are getting older. And here's the thing, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Andy, but I feel like people forget. You evolve. You might age out of something that you once loved. It may not be for you anymore, but for that thing to survive, it has to change. Now, that may not always mean getting younger, but a lot of times that's what it comes down to.
And the way I see it, too, for some, they probably didn't feel sexy growing up. You know what I mean? They get to a point where it's just like, you know what, I'm sexy, But I just wanted to know what your thoughts was with the whole Megan Thee Stallion situation.
At Essence?
Yeah.
I thought that, listen, Essence has been around. Obviously they rebooted it at a time, but for almost 30 years at this point. So the ladies that were going in the 90s, they might be 60 at this point, right? And so, are they going to be out there really partying 3 nights in a row? Some, not most. How many times can we have Patty and Gladys Knight and Frankie Beverly and Mays at Essence Fest? No shade.
Well, apparently that's the crowd.
It is the crowd, but the crowd, when Girls Trip came out, whenever that was, a couple years ago, that changed the crowd of Essence. And it did a lot for it, actually, because it wasn't the move. There's so many other festivals you have to change up. You have to, in order to keep that brand sponsorship going, in order to keep things fresh and to make it something, again, some of your core may fall off, but they're aging out too. Do they want to be walking around the Superdome like that? Do you want to be out in steamy Nolia in the middle of, not even the middle of July, early July, when the heat is like, I'm just getting started, relax, and the sweat is dripping down your body when you walk 2 feet out of the hotel? Not all of them want that. Do you know? So I think that they need to be realistic. And I know that it was different because one of the things that they changed this year and bringing it back is they don't have the super lounges anymore. And those would sometimes feature smaller current acts or older acts that maybe were not a big enough draw per se for the main stage. I think that everything has to evolve. And, sometimes, even though it may hurt us, we age out of a certain thing, or a certain thing takes a different turn for us. And you just make a choice. It's not going to be able to survive if it keeps the same momentum. So, I think just, and here's a random side that you didn't even ask me, which probably goes to maybe that Lady Pearl's point. But I mean, I'm sure it was some over 50 hot girls out there that like Megan too and wanted to, do the thing and was whopping it up and all of that other stuff. So why not let it go? Do you know what I mean? I think one of the things that we love best about, like, there used to be this thing called the Budweiser Superfest back in the day, is seeing the old acts and the newer acts. Some amazing things can happen. We have Fahima from DC on the line. What's going on, Fahima?
What up, cuz?
Ah, how are ya?
I was thinking.
Hold on, Fahima. Hold on, Fahima.
We in LA.
We in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
You have to be very, very.
I know that's not what you meant, but we in LA.
Is that one of those gang things?
Little bit. No, just kidding.
Well, I didn't say what's cracking.
We did listen. It is all the same thing sometimes. Depends on who you are across from. We're just kidding.
Well, anyway, I was thinking, this is not rocket science. Tom Joyner, Fantastic Voyage, and Family Reunion was intergenerational. You could have one stage where you have Megan Thee Stallion, and another stage where you got Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, and everybody can be happy.
I agree with you. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes what they do is, too, they'll put the acts that, maybe appeal in a different sort of fan moment thing to that. Right. They'll put them on earlier and put an act. Like Megan was a closing night act, so you could go home.
Exactly. So the thing is it doesn't have to be a situation where we have to decide which demographic we're going to appeal to. You can have something for everybody.
And I really believe that that is what Essence Fest does and tried to do. But, there's always going to be a contingent that is unhappy with change. Or, I mean, here's the thing. Maybe if you're still going to Essence at 65 and you like some of the things, you do think Megan is too raunchy, but I do subscribe that you could go home. You don't have to see that, right? I
Well, you
mean,
ain't gonna go home. We may go get a nightcap. We ain't gonna go home there.
well, I
have
mean,
to
I understand that, but my point is, they got options, right? They have
Right.
things that they could do, and I think it's good to mix up the eras. I think that is one of the things that makes Essence what it is.
And I'm sure that that's what, because the folks that own Shea Moisturizer, they own Essence now.
What is it? Richard Louis? I'm
Yeah.
okay.
And in fact, he took and turned Madam C.J. Walker's home in upstate New York into a place for writers. They're making some moves and they're doing some things. So, and I'm pretty sure that they have enough sense to know to have something there for everybody and make it intergenerational. So the folks that didn't want to watch Megan, do her twerk fest, they could have, I'm sure there was something else that was going on at the same time.
Outside. There is, which is a whole conversation. Essence does put through the city some type of compliance up where you cannot, obviously you can't have an event that is not officially located and say, Essence Fest after party, but they do put restrictions on the type of events and the places within a certain radius. But there are lots of things that you can attend, and Patti LaBelle don't want to be on the stage at midnight anyway. I'm certain of it. I'm certain. So.
But I'm just saying that they I'm sure that they had something for everyone. They may have had a comedy show or something that was going on at that time,
lots of things. There's I've been there when Spotify had a lounge, and they had acts coming through and doing there's different things to do. But I think that attempting to police sort of what acts are okay to be included is going to cut off a lot of the younger demographic. And the magazine is trying to connect with that demographic. The sponsors are trying to connect with that demographic. And it's not that they're forgetting about the older demographic, but, as we age, sometimes we start to get cool in our routines, and we are not going to venture out and change our routines or our shopping habits. So,
Last point. I'm pretty sure that when Prince was popping, when he first, came on the scene, there were people whose parents didn't approve of them going to see Prince, who had 100%. His booty out. So people need to stop.
100%. Bye, Fahima. Thank you for always calling in. We appreciate that. Remember, if you want to dial in, 800-920-1580. On the other side, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
to prescription drug coverage, and a quarterly over-the-counter allowance,
plus personal equipment,
meal programs,
a gym membership,
and so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
our community,
it's a plus.
It's a plus
for all of us.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Excuse me. So Pretty Brown Mimi in the chat says, excuse me, people aren't going to pay to just see Sexy Red, Ice Spice, etc. Bring India.Arie, Anthony Hamilton, Jill Scott in the mix too. I agree with you to a certain extent. There are people that would, but probably not the people that are just going to Essence. They probably may not, be into that. Again, there are lots of festivals that happen now over the summer. That wasn't the case when Essence first started. That wasn't even the case really like 15 years ago. So the summer tour market, the festival market is very competitive. But I also think that they never just do that where it's just young artists. Megan Thee Stallion is a 5-time Grammy winner? Something like that. She is a rap titan as far as hip hop goes. So her headlining a show, there was others of appropriate age that were also featured on during. I'm mixing up the years, so I don't want to do that because I know like Janet. Was that this summer? No, it was last year. Janet did a show at Essence that she headlined. We had Nicki Minaj mixed in there with Patti LaBelle. Some others. Lauryn Hill came out. So I think that they do a great job with mixing old and new. I just feel that, now we're at a point where some of the elders, we're doing some of the things that our elders, their elders did to them. And it's like, I don't like your music. I don't want it around. It's going to happen. That's a generational thing. And to Fahima's point, Jill Scott, she's been at Essence quite a bit. It's not like they, leave her out of the mix or those type of artists. I've seen Mary J. Blige there, all types.
Didn't Jill Scott do some sort of sexual
fellatio with the mic?
Yeah, was that at Essence Fest?
I can't remember. But here's the thing. It's not as if it's not something that she doesn't do at her concerts. So I don't know if it's just one place or if I know the video that came out that caused a lot of controversy with the mic, but it's something that she did in her shows. I think, it's almost an overcorrection because we are so over-sexualized that sometimes some of the lightheartedness of some of this is missed, or some of the things that are obviously targeted for adults. People are so, but what about the children? In those moments, and it's like, well, this kind of wasn't intended for them. And realistically, we can put up safeguards, but how much can you gatekeep what you think someone else's kid might come across with something that is not necessarily illegal or immoral? Do you know? I think that though I understand the reaction because there's a lot of sex out there. I mean, you think about the fact Sexy Red, her sex tape got leaked, and we were just all kind of like, oh, all right then, and kept it moving. Whereas years ago, that still would have been a topic for like a year.
It's Sexy Red, though. That don't count.
It,
If it was Beyonce, we'd be talking about this for the next year.
That is indeed facts. Facts, facts, facts. But I mean, I think in general, though, you could nobody bats an eye at this type of stuff anymore. And on one hand, it's like, okay, someone's putting out some revenge porn. You shouldn't be shamed for that. It's hardcore. Although the lesson is always, why are you letting these fools record you? But that's another conversation for another day. But even still, a woman that has been on the sidelines with the Jets and on all of these shows, her sex tape comes out, even if we are like, it's kind of what I figured, still really didn't raise too many eyebrows. And we're only a couple of weeks removed from it. Nobody's mentioned it. They don't care. And her music is still moving. Let's be clear about that,
That's because it's on brand with Sexy Red. I hate to say it.
You might be right about that. I don't know. Ladies, I don't care if it is on brand. Do not let these men tape you. There is why. And if for some reason you feel like you gotta do it, your phone, do not send it to him. And, keep all that stuff locked down. Those are just my quick thoughts on that topic. You do what you want to do. Those are simply my suggestions. So really quickly, I wanted to touch on this because I thought it was important. We are still celebrating the 50 years of hip hop, right? And I thought that this was really, really nice, really cool. So rappers Rakim, the OG, Rakim the God, and Scarface, each will receive $500,000 in health care from the Paid in Full Foundation. And this foundation pays homage to hip-hop contributors who, quote, did not get what they deserved. It has been put together by Steve Stout, Anderson Horowitz, he's the co-founder. Anderson Horowitz co-founder, Ben Horowitz. Anderson Horowitz is a big venture capitalist firm. Also, his wife, Felicia, and they've joined forces to bring together the first Hip Hop Grandmaster Awards, which is set to honor Scarface and Rakim. And part of the proceeds, 100% of the event's proceeds will go to the foundation's programs, but they also added that we're not just honoring you, they're giving them health care and funds. And I thought that that was amazing. I mean, the funds are important, don't get me wrong. Anybody got an extra $500K, I'm open to it. But the health care is really a big deal, especially as we have seen the decline of many male rappers' health over the past few years and them dying at 50 early ages from preventable diseases in a lot of cases or things that could be taken care of. So I think that that is amazing. I am excited for them and I think that that is a good thing. So coming up next hour, we're going to get into bad customer service and ATL and all of these rules. Of course, more trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk about Michael Jackson and Prince and allegedly how that all got started. And your guy, Flavor Flav, yeah, he sang the national anthem at the Milwaukee Bucks game this weekend. All of that and more. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
10 more times, you can't take this one nowhere, I look better with no hair, ain't no sign I can't smoke here, yeah. Give me the chance and I'll go there. Trick, I said what I said, I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head, I don't care, I paint the town red. Trick, I said what I said, I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head, I don't care,
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Jacksonville, Florida.